All together now, I got an axe wound. Hello? This one's working?
You're here.
Oh, you guys are here! Right in the nick of time, that's why. Hey, welcome, welcome. Come on in, guys, join the party. Make sure all of your mics are working.
No.
Is it on? No? Pass it on
Hi.
now?
Hi, everybody.
These guys came straight from another Q&A and they made it like on perfect timing. That was incredible.
We're not ready?
David's here too.
Yeah, our costume designers.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Please.
What up?
Here, you take this and I'll stand next to you. David. All right, let's welcome David and Katy and Erin and Martin from Blitz Berlin and Matt. Thank you guys all so much for being here tonight. I know this comes out wide release tomorrow, so make sure you all tell your friends and take your friends this weekend to see it. Let's start with the fact that you all went not just for a horror comedy, but full on camp. Erin, can you talk a little bit about the decision to go just campy as fuck with this?
Okay, so hi, I'm Erin. I wrote the movie with Tina, and thank you. We started writing this movie in 2018, but I've known Tina since she was an undergrad. And I say she was an undergrad because I had already graduated, we had mutual friends. But we were like in the same social, well, in college, and we had the same social circle, and she was in this dance group called Freestyle, and she would choreograph these things, and I swear, like people in roller skates and afro wigs, like 30 people on stage, and she just has a campy sensibility, and she likes to say that she's like a Disney kid, horror kid. You know, I think there's something campy that emerges from you when you like grow up around horror props in your life. And for me, I mean, I love John Waters. I love campy things because I think that the sort of gateway to queer stuff was always kind of campiness. Like how campy is, but I'm a cheerleader, right? So I think all of that, we were like, yeah, like this is gonna be funny and it's gonna be campy, and it's also a way, we're sensitive. I'm very sensitive, I'll speak for myself. Horror movies can be violent and hard, and like camp is a way to make it feel a little bit less immediate.
It feels a little safer, right? When
Yeah.
it's like campy and you're like, I get an axe wound, but you're like, oh, but it's funny and silly because she's like singing whatever she's singing. Katy, do you want to talk about a little bit, when you first read the script, did it read as campy as this? Like, was it just popping off the page, and what made you want to sign on for, like, what about the character appealed to you, and also this, like, insanely campy disco zombie script?
Yeah, I definitely read that in the script for sure. I wanted to do a queer project, and I wanted to do something fun and funny, because I feel like I just kind of get typecast into other things. So it's nice to do just something with the community. And yeah, all the jokes landed in the script. I asked Tina because I wasn't familiar with Tina's work, so I was like, I want some due diligence here. So I asked for her other projects that she's directed, so I got to watch that. And I noticed like, okay, music and dancing's a theme here with her. So I think that's going to be a really important element to this. And then I was like, I want to see who the DP is. I want to see her work. So then she sent me Shannon's work, and then I got a really clear visual of what the project was going to be like. And I'm like, all right, this is actually going to be pretty incredible.
Nice. So more camp for you. You're like, please put me more camp.
I mean, if it's good, you know.
If it's Tina doing it, if it's Tina and Erin doing
Yeah,
it, sign me
sure.
with them. Yeah. You want to talk about the costume design a little bit, because you have,
Especially with the budget.
Working with the budget on an indie film, you have tons of zombies that you're dressing. You have drag queens. It's a lot.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I think it was funny when I was talking to Nina about costume concepts and things, and you know, we were just talking about budget, and then I kind of realized, I'm like, oh my gosh, like the drag race stipend, I think, is more than what I have the entire budget of the movie. You know what I mean? For like all-star stipend or whatever, you know. And I'm like, but you know what? We're gonna figure this out. And what was so cool about the process was we were shooting in this, like this old silk building, like this abandoned, it was basically like almost like an abandoned warehouse kind of thing. And it was like used for like a wedding venue. And there was all of this like tchotchke and all of this stuff that was just kind of at our disposal. And I was like, Tina, can we use this? And she was like, yeah. She's like, you can use whatever you want. And so we were like, oh my gosh. So we were like finding all of these like old wedding decor, and so many of like the rhinestones just like came off of like just like all this old wedding decor. And so just finding ways to like really kind of just keep this like DIY spirit and really just like try to not take it so seriously, just really wanted to have fun, but of course like just make sure it was like really glam, you know, and just find that delicate balance. But yeah.
So you had no bedazzling budget, but you managed to source it from.
Yes, we made it work. Yeah, we totally made it work.
Was Slutty Margaret Thatcher in the script, and were like, how do I make Slutty Margaret Thatcher?
Well, I think that was ad-libbed. It was just kind of, you know, just based off of like just her look and her vibe, and I think that just kind of came to, yeah, I think it was ad-libbed, and it was pretty brilliant.
We sort of have you to thank then for that line, because it was based on your work, so.
There we go.
David was the first crew member on the project, actually.
Oh,
Yes. Yeah.
Nice.
Yes, this has been a long time in the making, and we're very excited for this weekend and just to see everything really kind of come to fruition. So.
What was it about it that you were like, no one else is attached, but I have to do this?
Tina and I just really vibed, you know, we just started talking about concepts early on, and, you know, we're both from Pittsburgh, and we both kind of, you know, just like I understood how important it was to like kind of continue the Romero legacy, but doing it in like Tina's own way, and and doing it in a way that just really felt authentically queer, you know, and I don't know, like making queer art is probably, you know, one of the best gifts that I've, you know, ever been given, you know, to be able to be a part of, so, yeah.
I guess we're gonna be all sharing back and forth.
I like, you were like, here, take this broken one. I didn't want it.
So the zombies obviously have a very distinct and specific look that we're not used to seeing. Erin, in the earliest versions of the script, is this what the zombies were like? What were those discussions like, and kind of how did they evolve from conception to final picture?
Well, I think one of the things about writing a zombie movie with Tina Romero is it's like writing a book about Catholicism with the Pope's kid. Like, I would be like, and then this, she'd be like, a zombie would never do that. Like, sorry, like she just knew it in her bones, like the lore was part of her, and so she knew the frame she wanted to play with, and then how to break it. Because she says this in other panels, so I'll speak for her, that she did not want her zombies to look realistic and gross and like flannel shirts and rotten flesh, like a dead person would look. Like she wanted it to be heightened and stylized. I think that color and the desire for color and the desire for like layering the drag with the zombie flesh was her sort of earliest vision for this movie. Is like, how can you do zombie underneath and on top of drag, which is underneath and on top of zombie, and it's like this layered look. And so I think that's what we got with Zombie Queen, who is just iconic.
That fusion of the fabulous and the grotesque. Also those cheekbones, they all have like killer cheekbones.
Yeah, and the way the brows look, like it's just amazing.
Incredible. Martin, let's talk about the music a little bit. Tina is a DJ. Katy's character is a DJ, which makes music a little more important in this context, I think. So do you want to talk a little bit about that, and also the fun little Easter egg that you guys did?
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, coming out of this project, there was like kind of an immediate creative simpatico with Tina. The way that she talks about music, thinks about music, probably because of her DJ background, is really intuitive for a director. And she's such a passionate and positive person who is has a great vision and is really excited to like bring collaborators in and bring that to life. So right from the get-go, she had a bunch of songs that she loved and a bunch of ideas she loved, and then just kind of let us run with it. I say us, myself and the two other guys who make up Blitz, who did the music for the film. And we basically sketched, wrote a whole bunch of music, a bunch of really big swings and crazy dance music drops and that sort of stuff, and presented it to her, and just kind of started jamming with her, almost like she was another member of the band, to create that. And then the real part that sort of clinched it, I think, musically, was this idea for this Axeman track, which you guys heard in the credits, with the excellent line delivery and the rhythmic dance, whole scene in the club, and then coming back for the credits. That was kind of the full circle collaboration between the line that Erin wrote and Liz's idea to use it in the song, and it sort of became larger than life pretty quickly. So yeah, it was this very inspired back and forth with very positive kind of leader who had a great vision for the film.
Amazing. And you used a little bit of a music cue as well, right? That you guys remixed from another Romero movie?
Oh, 100%, that's true. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the DNA of the original theme from Day of the Dead is kind of all throughout the film, which I'm sure if you guys were listening for it, it's sometimes unrecognizable. It's hidden in there and slowed down and stretched out, and we're treating it in our own way. And then finally, towards the end of the film, we really hear it at tempo, so you kind of recognize it at that moment. But when we talked about theme writing early, as a composer, sometimes you want to put your stamp all over everything, but when you have a theme that's that good and that iconic to work with, and working with Tina, obviously, it was one of the first conversations we had. We have to find a way to make that music work in this film, but do it in, like, for lack of a better term, a gay way. So we made it gay, and it was great.
Make It Gay is my favorite direction.
David, make it gay.
That was most of the direction.
That's great, but gay, or gayer, more
Yeah,
gay.
not gay enough, exactly.
Dance track will make it gay.
Matt, as a producer, I imagine you don't get a ton of scripts coming your way that are, starring drag queens and fabulous zombies and just campy as hell. What was it about this, and what point did you come on to this project?
Yeah, I'm Matt Miller. I'm one of the two producers on the film, along with Natalie Metzger. So we did a film called Werewolves Within that David actually did the costumes on, and that inspired Tina and her team to reach out to us and say, we're doing something in the vein of this. We initially were like, listen, we're way too busy, we can't do this, but Natalie was like, I'll take the meeting, and Natalie was like, the lookbook's incredible, Tina's incredible, we gotta read the script. I read the script with Natalie, and we were like, the script's incredible, and I was a huge George Romero fan growing up, and so it sort of became like an undeniable, we have to do this, we have to figure out how to make it happen. Does that answer your question? Is that the?
We'll accept it, yes. No, just kidding. You also have a cameo in this,
I
right?
do, it's hidden. Both Natalie and I have cameos. Natalie's is a little bit more forward-facing. She shows up in the first scene as the sort of like, woman on the block that's sort of eyeing Zombie Queen as she, well, before she's Zombie Queen, she's
The stank guy, she gave her the stank guy.
She is the stank guy. And then, I don't know if you realize, she shows up at the end, she's the zombie that gets the plunger in the back of her head. So she had to sit through hours of makeup. I did not. I was the Easter Bunny zombie. And I did my own stunts, so, yeah.
Incredible work, well done. Were y'all jealous that you didn't get to be made up as zombies at all? Because they look pretty cool. I know it's a lot of makeup, but.
I was there when Zero was getting made up, and she was Zero Gravity, who's an amazing content creator and very cool person. She was in that chair for a long time. I have a cameo too. Did you guys know? I'm the hospital announcer. So when I'm like, get to the cafeteria, yeah, that's me.
That was your scream too?
That was my scream.
That's impressive.
Thank you.
Thanks. I think a lot of people don't realize how long you sit in the makeup chair doing it, and so that means that like hair and makeup has to get there even earlier too, and then they have to stay even later to clean people up. So it's like when you have something like that, or that's why I don't have a lot of tattoos. Like I would be covered in tattoos if I didn't have to spend an extra like 4 to 5 hours in a makeup chair, inconveniencing everyone, you know. So this was like, they did so much, and there was a day too where we had, how many extras was it, the final one?
Like 100.
Yeah, like 100 extras, and they're just covering all of them as much as they can in zombie glitter. It was just an incredible feat, and we did not have a lot of people, so I was just constantly blown away with what they were able to do. We got, I think the bride had just finished shooting there, and they pulled in so many favors, got prosthetics and stuff like that from them, like leftover stuff. It really was just like incredible.
Everyone that I have spoken to that has worked on this film, you guys just sound like the scrappiest fucking like most popular. Also, is that me? What's happening? Okay. But also just like the community, the way that guys are showing up for each other is just something really cool about this.
Are you a robot?
I think if you just turn.
I've been found out. If I
Yeah.
get away,
Just turn.
look away, look away. As a lesbian, shocker guys, I'm a lesbian, I'm sorry, not to you. It's, I get gayer. As a lesbian, it was really nice to see a lesbian couple that has a healthy relationship, and the story has nothing to do with like their struggles as a couple or struggles as like, oh, being gay is so hard. It's really nice just to see them dealing with shit like, you know, everyday stuff like we're having a baby and we're trying to get away from zombies. So do you want to talk a little bit about writing a character like that and also Katy playing a character like that?
Well, I wanted the lesbian couple to survive. Like that had to happen. I have Buffy trauma. My girlfriend has the 100 trauma. That was like a bad week. That was a bad week for you. I was like, that has to happen. And I think we also just wanted. I mean, I think like there's a little secret message of like hooray for health workers and hooray for trans care providers and hooray for like the heroism that is this, but also there's a dynamic of like a relationship where like one person's a starving artist, scrappy nightclub entertainer, and the other person is responsible. So like, I think that there were dynamics to play with that were not like, oh, like the problem that the gay people have in this movie is generally not homophobia per se, right? It's like, you know, zombies. So it's nice to see gay people banding together to fight something other than oppression. So.
It's like I loved it too because I also have a healthy relationship and we are family planning as well, so it kind of like hit at the same time. But then what was really funny was then when I met Tina's partner, Liz. She's like my doppelganger almost a little bit, and then they also have a healthy relationship. To the point where I invited them to the Mission Impossible premiere, and at the end someone turned to Liz and was like, "You did great." And I was standing right next to her. So and like there were times on set where I'm like, we're wearing the same outfit, basically. Like I was like, okay, this is weird. But yeah, it was awesome to see. It just the representation all the way around. I don't know. Yeah. All the way around, it was just great to see. There wasn't anybody that was like, you know, it didn't feel like anyone was like checking boxes, you know. Just felt like people just got to show up and be who they were. It was awesome.
I love it, and I think that's part of my favorite thing about this also is it's like you have queer across the spectrum, from like drag queens to trans to, you know, lesbians, and I also think you could probably use Liz as your doppelganger to your advantage. I don't know, I feel like you guys could have some fun with that. Erin, write that script.
We were joking around because we were at an event and I was trying to leave and people kept stopping me, and then I was like, Liz, maybe if you just pretend to be me one day.
It's like a Hannah Montana situation.
Yeah.
Or not, because that's a wig, that's not a whole separate person.
We can just get away with it.
On the topic of lesbians, there's a running bit in here that I love, and I don't know if it's a universal experience. It's an experience in my household, probably in yours, which is why you wrote it. But anytime they do something impressive, they call out like their sports championship from the past, like softball, third base, or whatever it is.
And the one that's hard to hear is Katy's. Did you guys pick up on that one?
The most random sport in the world.
But it's one with a crossbow, kind of.
Kind of.
It
Biathlon.
yeah.
I had to look it up. What's biathlon?
Is that skiing and shooting?
I guess it's,
Yeah,
it's skiing and shooting.
Canadian.
That's badass.
So skiing and shooting, it's very important.
That's what we all do.
Yeah.
That's how we get
I was like, is there not another sport that makes any sense at all?
We thought about other things, especially like at the end, like with different martial arts, because one of my favorite moments, because I think Katy's so funny in this movie, and I also think it's just amazing how grounding she is, and like you get to watch her be exasperated the whole time, and it's beautiful exasperation. But like The part where everybody's fighting zombies and like Samonse and Barry, and then like you're like, they're doing great, and then Katy starts fighting them, you're like, oh, that's what fighting looks like.
What? No, they're fighting them, and I like shoot off a glitter thing, and nothing happens.
Well, in fairness, you did not tell us about your martial arts background. I learned about that like
What?
last week.
Well, read a girl's resume then.
I know. We would have put a little bit more of that in than we did.
Oops, all martial arts. Do we want to take a couple of audience questions? Does anybody have questions? Right here in the flannel.
Hi, Katy, this one's for you. How much did you hate the balloons by the end?
You know what was really sweet is Tina was always like, is this okay? Is this okay? For anything, like, we're gonna like make the room a little darker, is that okay? It was always that. So that was my first day of filming, the fucking balloons. And Tina was like, hey, I have a big favor to ask. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, I just think it'd be really funny if you just have all these balloons and they just inconvenience you. Is that okay? And I'm like, yeah, of course. And but like, yeah, so we're just walking around New York in the heat, whatever. I was inconveniencing everyone else because there were actual people on the street, and I had all these balloons, and I loved them so much that I was like, at the end, can we bring them back for one last time, so that I can run into them as we're trying to escape, and be like, why? But I loved them, and I have a deflated one at home.
I was hoping you were going to end it with that. Did any of you all keep a little souvenir from set?
Oh yeah, I still have like a bunch of things in my kit, just like random like sharp glittery objects that are just like floating around in my kit. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I cannot get this show. Yeah, it's like, you know, the show just kind of like stays with me. It's like how glitter, when you just get glitter on you, it just kind of, you can't get rid of it. And it's kind of the same thing. So, yeah.
I have a deflated balloon also, but my prized possession is a photo of me wearing the clip-on rat earring that Margaret wears at one point when she gets bit in the ear. It's seriously like you can hands off and that rat will hang from your ear, and it's glorious.
Disgusting.
You didn't wear it tonight?
I kept my fake wedding ring. Cause it's awesome. It's like wood, fake wood. I don't know what it is, but it's really cool. And then my shirt, my Dre shirt, because it's the best shirt I've ever seen.
Did you get any?
Oh, I wasn't on set. I was, all working after the fact, so I didn't get to keep anything from the set. But what is a prized possession though, and I just shout this out because of how great Tina is, and I can't sing her praises enough. Is I think everybody who participated in the movie got like a crew shirt, but then also because we weren't there, she sent us this lovely handwritten note that was like gushing in specifics about what we contributed to the project, and that sounds like maybe something that people do in this business, but genuinely not. It doesn't happen all that much. So that was one little example of the entire experience with her and how inclusive and supportive she was the whole way.
Do you have your bunny suit?
Bunny suit.
No, I wish. I just got trauma. Just PTSD. No, it was like a record heat wave in Jersey. We shot this in New Jersey in Patterson, and as David said, it was called the Art Factory. It doesn't exist anymore. It was a record heat wave. It was from a producing standpoint very, very, very difficult. What made it easier was everybody cared about it. We all loved it, and we all believed in Tina. We all believed in each other, and like that got us through. But from like a producing side, I have trauma.
That's forever.
And that's the gift of us.
I always carry that with me.
When you say it doesn't exist anymore, did they demolish it or it's just not used? Because it's haunted for sure.
I don't. Well, the Art Factory doesn't. Like the guy who ran it doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't know if they knocked it down. I haven't been up there yet. I can't imagine. It's like a historical building.
Yeah.
But I think it's closed down. Like I don't think anything's in there right now.
There was one, so the place where Margaret died, there was like an upstairs section somehow. It didn't seem like there was an extra floor, but somehow it existed. And there was a door that I would not cross. It had weird writing on it. It was like, I have a video of it. I'm like, I'm gonna call Mythbusters, whatever the people are. And then there was a cat that would come to me almost every night when I was alone and try to guide me away from everyone. And it did work.
A ghost cat?
I don't know if it was a ghost cat, I don't know if it was a real cat, but it was a cat, and he'd be like, "Sup, let's go." And I'd be like, "Let's go." And he would try to guide me outside. And I'm like, "I don't know, man. I don't think I should follow you here." Because it was like this rusty stairwell. It just, I'm telling you, haunted.
Wow.
It's, I actually do think I went in every crevice of that, because I was like, what can we shoot? We need every, because we tried to find every location at this place, so I think it added to my trauma. Like, there were crevices and spaces I went into that I was like, I am scarred by having been in this room. And like, deep dungeon basements, and like, there was just, it was dark.
Yeah.
Did you go into the weird writing door?
I did.
You did?
You didn't read it out loud, right? The writing, you know
No,
better than that.
no,
Okay.
I didn't speak Latin.
Yeah, it was weirdly blood. I was like, why is this so violent?
No, that was mine.
That was your blood, yeah.
Yeah, you saw it out
Cut
there.
yourself on the floor, yeah.
That was the trauma blood.
That's how I held him back.
Yeah.
That was also part of producing, was like, stay in there.
You're such a team player. You have 3 more fucking days of shooting.
Yeah, stay demons.
More questions. Bitch.
Oh,
Favorite death scene?
Favorite death scene?
What was your favorite death scene, or like which bitch died? I don't know, which one was your
Mm.
Oh, the penis guy. Because that dude was straight, but he
favorite?
went in.
like, I mean, the whole.
Incredible.
Yeah. that's
Like a
good.
pro.
I love that you just be like, the penis guy, and everyone's like, yeah, we know who that is.
For me, it was definitely Jitzy, because Nina did her own stunt,
Mm.
and that was, and that death drop line is pretty great. And it's also just so sad, but it's this sacrifice, and it's really, it's the slow-mo when she's falling. I love it.
And we worked so long on that.
Yeah.
Like, I think we talked about it earlier, like, so much that was important about this film to us was the survival aspect of it, that like almost everybody makes it out alive, and it wasn't this sort of like classic horror trope of like, and this person goes, and this person goes, and there's like a final girl. Like, we just never wanted that. We want the fact that like, they do get through it together by working together, so we knew we were up against having fewer deaths and making sure that when we had them, they mattered. And so like, we really worked a long time on Jitsi. But my personal favorite was Pop. Like, the minute you were at the Pop scene and she shouts labia, like, I like cried laughing reading that draft. Like,
That's Tina's joke.
Is
no,
it?
that was you.
No, that's Tina.
Oh, I always gave you credit.
Nice.
Nope, it's Tina.
But
great.
yeah, that one always got me.
Yeah, I was gonna choose the Pop's death as well, because, I mean, from a music standpoint, we talked to Tina about that. We're like, this is very funny, but also very moving. What way do we go? And the way was to play it completely straight musically. This is a big, dramatic, serious moment while she screams, labia. And that was a lot of fun to play against that.
I mean, honestly, like Julie J's death in the very beginning was just like so iconic. She is such an icon, and we like loved just the whole process of like finding Zombie Queen and just figuring out kind of like putting a face to that character. And Julie just turned it out and loved, and and the death it was so immediate. And it just got me so like amped for like everything else. It just sets up the movie so nicely.
Also, I don't want to say Jinsey because like all of us are hoping she's not really dead. Because of
For the musical sequel?
we also want to do a prequel with Jinsey called Jinsey Tonic Werewolf Hunter. We find out Jinsey has a backstory.
That's good.
The Queens of the Dead universe?
Right.
We just
Yes.
think
Yeah.
Jinsey is just like our character that we could be like, let's just do as much with Jinsey as we can.
Yeah, put her in anything.
Yeah, that was my least favorite death, I will say.
Yeah,
But now I
so
have
was
some
my
hope,
favorite.
like a shimmer of hope. More questions? Right.
There was sort of like this motif of a lot of bunnies throughout the film. Can I ask what the inspiration for that was?
Well, it's Easter, when the movie happens, because we are juvenile and from the internet, and that's the zombie holiday. And it's also, Tina is DJ Tricks when she performs as a DJ, and she wears a rabbit mask. And also the party that Yum is based on is called Hot Rabbit. These are all coincidences, but they are all the reason why there's rabbits everywhere.
I just got the Tricks is for Kids. I just got that.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, it's the rabbit from that.
Yeah.
The first time I watched this, I did not realize it was an Easter movie. I was like, oh, there's a lot of like Jesus stuff and like Catholic stuff, and I'm like, that's probably just from upbringing. And the second time I watched it, I was like, motherfucker, this is an Easter horror movie.
Yeah, Tina and I were working on this for a long time, and we text each other on Easter being like, happy weekend, our movie takes place.
There's not enough like Easter staples, so we figured we'd like throw in that, like, you know, you got your Christmas and your like, you know, your Valentine's Day and your Halloween. So we're gonna own Easter. Like every year, we want every year to go like, we're gonna watch Queen's like that.
Yeah.
I love holiday horror, and we need to expand beyond. So I'm all for like Easter horror, Arbor Day horror. Like bring it, give it to me. Way in the back.
Yes, hi. So my name is Joshua M. Turner. I'm a fellow actor myself, but I actually love watching like all like the intense like blood. And I just thought that was interesting. So like the question I had was, how did you guys like make it look like real, and like how did you like what did you guys use like as an effect to like position the blood to like make it look like it was actually like dripping like down like for real? So that was the question I had. Like it was pretty interesting how you guys had like the blood and stuff, and I was like, wow, that was like I need to like figure that out.
For Halloween.
Yeah. I was there when Margaret was on set. I was only on set for like 3 days, but I was fascinated watching the blood spurts. So they went behind the zombie that she's drilling into their head. There were like 3 people crowded around him with a camera behind his shoulder. And one of them was using an air gun because it was COVID time, so you couldn't blow. But one of them had a straw full of fake blood, and the other one had like one of those air guns you use to clean your keyboard, and was like, and like the blood would spurt onto her face and the goggles, and it was like so cool to watch because there were so many people crowded into this little tiny area to stay out of the shot and make that practical effect happen. So that's what I got to see.
But the big thing was glitter blood. Like that was like what we knew we want. Like we talked about that immediately. That like this movie doesn't exist if we can't figure out glitter blood. And it is like it's a mix of what you would expect. We aim for as much practical as possible, but we realized there were times where using CGI made more sense because it allowed us more takes and less reset time. And so we literally just painstakingly went through each gag and said like, okay, when does it make sense to do this practically? And we had an incredible practical makeup effects group led by Christina Grant. And we tried to figure out when to do those and do those as many as practical. And then VFX, I own a post division that could do the VFX in-house. And so we figured out which ones of those as sparingly as possible to do as like a VFX.
Amazing, it looked fantastic. I know that's about our time. I just want to say thank you all because the LGBTQ community is under attack, the trans community is under attack, the drag community is under attack. So it is so fucking cool to see something like this that represents queer joy, queer love, queer resilience, queer defiance. So thank you all for making something that just feels hopeful in this kind of not super hopeful climate right now.
And please spread the word. Like I can't stress enough how much like a film like ours relies on early audiences like you. Like you guys are literally the first to see this theatrically, and to go and tell people to go see it, especially this opening weekend, it makes all the difference for a film like ours. So please spread the word. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your enemies. Even like tell literally everybody to go see this movie.
Get noisy on social media and take your friends to the theater this weekend, right?
And thank you so much to Angel. We love you, Angel. Thank you.